Good day, good day, good day, good day, good day, good day, everyone. Welcome back, grade 7 students. This is your English class with Teacher Ross. How are you today? Are you excited for another learning session? Very good. But before we start, let us have a game. Guess it to win it. I want you to identify the name of the following pictures. Don't worry, I have also provided jumbled letters that will serve as your clues. Let us start. Let us have this one. What do you call this? Very good. This is an example of a line graph. Next. Correct! This is a pie graph. Next. What do you call this one? Great! This is an example of a flowchart. Next. Alright, what is this one? Very good. This is a bar graph. How about this one? Okay, this is a fishbone diagram. Very good. Next. Great. This is a Venn diagram. How about this one? Alright, this is an example of an infographic. How about this one? Alright, obviously, this is an example of a pictograph. And the last one, what is this? Alright, this is an example of a graphic organizer. Alright, very good. Now, the question is, how do we call them? Very good. They are called textual aids. Textual aids, or also known as educational instruments, simplify comprehension of text by using graphical outlines or images that give the general idea of the topic. There are textual aids that are easy to use and very recognizable, like underlined words, bold text, highlighted words, and italicized words. They help the readers look for important details in a text. Now, let us discuss our main topic that has something to do with textual aids. Today, we will talk about linear and non-linear text, their features, differences, and examples. Understanding the differences between linear and non-linear text is an essential skill as we encounter these texts almost every day. The main difference between the two lies in the way the text is read or processed by an individual. Experts call this pattern of reading a material as reading path. Let us start with linear text. A linear text refers to traditional text that needs to be read from beginning to end in order to make sense of its content. It follows a sequential reading path where the reader tries to make sense of the text through grammatical arrangement and relationship of words. Examples are novel, poem, short story. We also have letters and educational text. A non-linear text, on the other hand, is non-sequential. This means that the readers, not the author, decide how the text is to be read without necessarily following a prescribed pattern. The most common examples of nonlinear text include line graph, graphic organizer, and flowchart. Today, we will discuss examples of nonlinear text that can really aid students like you. Let us find out their features, purposes, and/or uses. Let us start. This one is called a line graph. A line graph is a graphical display of data that continuously changes over a specific amount or period of time. The line or lines represent movement and may ascend or descend depending on the trend they show. This is an example of a line graph. This is the temperature in New York. So we have here the temperature in degrees Celsius and the time. And this is the line. Next, we have pie graph. A pie graph or pie chart is a circular statistical tool. Like a pie, it uses portions or slices to represent numerical proportions or percentages of a given whole. So this is an example of a pie graph. Favorite type of movie. So we have sci-fi 20%, comedy 20%, action 25%, romance 30%, and drama 5%. Next, we have a flowchart. A flowchart is simply a graphical representation of steps. It shows steps in sequential order and is widely used in presenting the flow of algorithms, workflow, or processes. Typically, a flowchart shows the steps as boxes of various kinds and their order by connecting them with arrows. So we have here the start, then alarm rings, we have the box, then the arrow. Okay, next, let us have a bar graph. A bar graph can be defined as a chart or a graphical representation of data, quantities, or numbers using bars or strips. Bar graphs are used to compare and contrast numbers, frequencies, or other measures of distinct categories of data. And this is an example of a bar graph. Birthday of students by month. So we have here the number of students, and then we have here the months. So we could see that this graph uses bars to represent the number or the data. Next, we have Fishbone Diagram. The Fishbone Diagram or Ishikawa diagram is a cause and effect diagram that helps managers to track down the reasons for imperfections, variations, defects, or failures. The diagram looks just like a fish's skeleton with the problem at its head, so we have here, and the causes for the problem feeding into the spine. Next, we have the Venn diagram. A Venn diagram uses overlapping shapes, usually circles, to show or represent the similarities and differences between two or more items or concepts. In this case, in this example, we are comparing whales and fish. So here we have their differences, and the overlapping circle, we have here their similarities. Next, we have here infographic. An infographic is a collection of imagery, charts, and minimal text that gives an easy to understand overview of a topic. As in the example below, infographics use striking, engaging visuals to communicate information quickly and clearly. So this infographic is about COVID-19. So it has information about COVID-19. Next, we have pictograph. A pictograph is a graph that shows numerical information by using picture symbols or icons to represent datasets. The advantage of using a pictograph is that it is easy to read, like this one. We have here the classes grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4. Then number of students. One picture represents 10 students. So in this case, for grade 1, we have 10, 20, 30 students. Next, we have here graphic organizer. A graphic organizer is a visual and graphic display that depicts the relationships between facts, terms, and/or ideas within a learning task. Graphic organizers are also sometimes referred to as knowledge maps, concept maps, story maps, cognitive organizers, advanced organizers, or concept diagrams. So this is an example of a graphic organizer. To be specific, it is an example of a hamburger graphic organizer. So we have here the topic sentence, supporting sentence, 1, 2, 3, then the conclusion sentence. Alright, now that you are familiar with linear and non-linear text, the big question now is, how do we transcode linear to linear and vice versa? To transcode means to transform something from one form to another. In order to transcode a linear to a non-linear text or the other way around, one must first be able to fully understand what the source text is about. This way, deciding on the proper text type to be used in the transcoding process will be easier. To transcode a linear text to a nonlinear text, one may follow these steps. Step 1. Read and understand the source text to get its main or central ideas. Step 2. Extract important details to be included in the visual presentation. Step 3. Remember to use words or phrases only. Step 4. To be organized, classify information into categories. And step 5. Make sure to use the appropriate nonlinear text in presenting your information. Always remember those easy steps whenever you transcode linear to nonlinear text and vice versa. I think you are now ready for our activity. I want you to study the pie graph and transcode it into a paragraph form. Okay, this is a pie graph from American Water Works Association Research Foundation. Alright, let us try to interpret and transcode this pie graph. The pie graph shows water usage. It can be analyzed that toilet water usage is greater than the usage of clothes washer because the pie is bigger. The shower water usage is 16.8. That puts it in rank 3, followed by faucet water usage, leaks, and other factors. It is up to you on how you want to transcode the pie graph. The more comprehensive interpretations, the better. Alright, that would be all for today. I hope you learned something today that you could apply in the future. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye!